Welcome to iEnhance Advocate. iEnhance Advocate is a platform for lawyers having practiced less than 5 years to come and deliver a lecture on law of their choice. So today we have with us Advocate Rudra Dani, who practices across various courts in Bombay, and he is going to deliver his lecture. So without further ado, I would like to call our speaker, Advocate Rudra Dani. Thank you.
A very good morning to one and all present here. My topic for the today's session is, has the time arrived where India shall pass a law on menstruation leave? Whenever the sessions were conducted on this topic, it is presumed that majority supports in the favor that law on menstruation leave shall be passed. But in reality, that session itself targeted by disrespectful statements and the questions, that is, why to conduct a session on this topic? It is nothing but a waste of time. Is it the right time to pass this law? Because there are many laws that are protecting the rights and interests of a woman. Or is there is any need to pass this law? Because this is what it has been going on from several decades, and it was neither interrupted nor disputed. And even though if tomorrow the law will pass, then nothing will going to change. Such kind of statements are always coming from those side who don't want that this law should be passed. On the point that it has been going on from several decades, it is not necessary that the social practices or any social movement that are going on from several decades are always protecting the rights and interests of a woman. Because when the time changes, the society too changes, and we need that law accordingly changes, so that the harmony and balance between the law and the society should be maintainable and both are on the equal footing. And on the point of practices, in today's era, either we have some specific law on it, or either that practice itself that abolished or punishable. For example, the practice of sati, where women were burning alive in the name of rituals, and people even forgot the religion of humanity. So any such social movement, any practices that is not protecting the interest and the rights of a woman, or which is totally harmful or violating the rights of a woman, then it must be removed from its roots, so that in future no one would undergo such pain, trauma, or any harassment. If I goes back 100 years ago, at that time there was no right to education, sati system was there, parda system was there, dowry system was there was no widow remarriage. And if I am witnessing this today's era, then almost all the rights and the freedoms are there for women. If I compare both this era, then I found that one law is still pending, is missing from this list, and that is the law on menstruation leave. Whenever the discussion is going on this topic, there were always one question which was still unanswerable. That is why till today this law has not been passed. The simple answer is weightage of politics is more than the law, not in accordance with the word. My reason for making this statement is, within a span of 6 hours you can abolish one article, but if one of your MP propose in the parliament the menstruation benefit bill, then that bill is still lying on the table with the label undiscussed and currently in coma, because due to its long pendency, its existence or its non-existence both are equal. Another fact is, instead of passing the law for welfare of a woman, it is used as a weapon to secure their seats for next 5 years. If this politics has not come into the picture, then definitely this law was already passed. Now I would like to move on to another question, that is, why there is a need to pass this law. This why in this question should be supportive in nature, but it sounds more like criticism, that why you need this law. So instead I would substitute this question with what are the various requirements or the factors that assisting in passing the bill. The first factor is, menstruation is not a sickness. When any employee seeking leave from the employer for whatever the reason, it is always counted as a leave, whether for sick leave or whether leave for any other purpose. But when the time changes, then accordingly to, we are witnessing a change in concept of leave, that is the sick leave and leave for other purpose, casual leave. As far as the law on menstrual leave is concerned, then menstruation is not a sickness, but it is due to some biological process that every woman undergoes this menstruation process for 4 days or 5 days in a month. So it's neither sits in the category of sick leave, it neither sits in the category of casual leave. But this is the time where one more category is required to be added, that is the leave for menstruation, so that the one couldn't need to take a leave on the ground of sick leave, but one can take up proudly that yes, I am on a menstruation leave. The second factor is, interest of a woman is required to be protected at workplace. Every employer want to keep their employee on work mode, be it male or female. But in respect of female employee, the employer also take care of that thing, that the female employee or the worker shouldn't be aware about their legal rights Because if they are aware about their legal rights, then the work is going to be interrupted, disturbed by some or the other means. The classic case on this point is around 2 years ago in Bid, Maharashtra, where the women were working in a sugarcane industries, in the sugarcane mills. There was a report that 13,000 women were removed their womb in order to set free from this menstruation process, because according to them, if they are undergoing this process, they are not considered for the work. The preference is not given to them. And even some women too made a statement that sometime their superior to force them to get into this treatment in order to join the work, because they can't afford the leave for a day. If that female employee, that female workers were aware about that right, then we couldn't witness such the heartbreaking cases. So there is a need that law on menstruation leave shall be passed. Apart from that, our Indian Constitution too support this law. Article 15 clause 3 clearly states that nothing prevents the state from making any special provision for the women and children. This Article 15 is not a standalone article, but is nestled with Article 14, 15, 16 equality scheme that work for the betterment of the woman, and also check that it should be done without any discrimination. Now I would like to move on to some criticisms. The first criticism is loss of employment. If this law will pass, then there is a higher chance that employer would prefer more male member than the female member, because as per the mindset of the employer, the women are getting maternity benefit, now menstruation benefit, tomorrow something new comes. So how one can run their business if he is constantly giving the leaves? But Article 16 clause 1 of the Constitution states that equality of opportunity in the public employment, and Article 16 clause 2 comes up with prohibition of discrimination on the ground of religion, race, caste, gender, or any of these categories. So this criticism find no place. The second criticism is it is gender discriminatory law. If this law is passed, then it is injustice on the male member. What is a simple definition of discrimination? Where one is getting the favor over another, where one is preferred over another. If both are on the same platform, but instead of giving that benefit to both, that benefit is given only to one, then it's a discrimination. Is it the case that men too are undergoing this menstruation? No. So there is no point that it is a gender discriminatory law. One of the eye opener in regard to gender discrimination is that Sabrimala judgment passed by Honorable Supreme Court, which abolished the temple practice and states that the women who were not allowed to enter into a temple from 10 years to 50 years is not only illegal, it's not only violating her right, but this is something against the constitutional morality. After that, I again want to refer one case. In the case of Government of AP versus PB Vijay Kumar, the Honorable Supreme Court held that the special provisions which the state may make to improve women's participation in all the activities can be in the form of either affirmative action or reservation without any discrimination. So again, this criticism find no place. The third criticism is itself raised by the woman, that is, we are working from many years, we are used to these conditions now, why to pass a law? Even though earlier no law was there, we were working, even you are passing the law today, we are still working, we are used to these situations. Just remember one thing, the impression of 5 fingers are not the same. If one set of women are working during menstruation, that doesn't mean that you accept others women to working during the menstruation, because each woman are reacting differently to menstruation pain. So instead of keeping all the women on the one platform during the menstruation, it is better that this law should be passed so that it gives the benefit to all the women. The next, I don't want to term it as a criticism, since it is the, I can say it's very illogical statement kind of thing. This statement, usually we always find such people in the society, even though women win the gold medal for our country, or whether women represent our India at the space, but still we are going to hear this statement. And according to my understanding, there are only 2 reasons. First, either they want some attention, or second, they need some serious medical attention. That is, women are weak. If you ask them, what is your definition of strong? Who is the strong then? So according to them, the stronger are the one who is the owner of bodybuilding personality, who has a very good physical strength, and who is very strong from outer. I want to put one static here. In last month, in one of the European country, one session was conducted only on the man via some treatment or some therapy. Those men are going to feel the pain of a woman that woman undergoes during menstrual cramps. The result was, man couldn't even survive 30 seconds, whereas women undergoing the same pain 3 lakh seconds per month without any complaint. Now what is your view on this? Who is weak now? So again, this criticism, this statement, baseless and find no place here. Now I would like to move on to some countries that already granted the menstruation leave. The first country was Indonesia, that grants 2 days paid leave per month. The next is South Korea, that grants 1 day leave per month, and that policy was implemented on 2001. The next is Taiwan. Taiwan grants 3 days paid leave per month. The next is Zambia, that grant 1 day leave per month. The next country is China, that grants 2 days leave per month. The last country is Italy, that grants 3 days menstruation leave per month. And Italy was the latest addition in this list, and even Italy became the first European country to grant menstruation leave. Now please don't upset that India is not in the list. Yes, India is not in this list, but very few knows that there is a one state that grants menstruation leave since 1992, that is state of Bihar, that grants 2 days paid leave per month. Now I would like to move on to the companies that they themselves taken the initiative to grant the menstruation leave. The first company was Culture Machine, that grant menstruation leave only on the first day of menstruation. The next company is Gozop company, that grant 6 additional leaves per year, and which is also convertible to 12 work from home day sessions. The next is Mathrubhumi, that again grant the leave only on the first day of menstruation. Apart from that, Fly My Biz, Nike and Horse Media Private Limited to grants menstruation leave whenever their worker required. Last year, Zomato too comes up with 10 days menstruation leave policy per year to the female employee, and just 4 days ago their arch rival Swiggy was the latest addition in this list, which granted 2 days menstruation leave per month. I would like to conclude my session by saying that the very first thing we need to understand that we need to stop treating a woman differently or impure during the menstruation, because it's not only going to affect her mental health, but this is something which is against the human right. The second thing is we need to transform our workplaces in such a way that it shouldn't be the period shaming. Instead, it is a period friendly environment. The third is whenever the one is dreaming that law, that so and so law should be passed for the welfare of a woman, the society first pulling your legs, how it is possible, this is not possible, this is against the morality, and create many obstacles in your path. But after you fight that battle, once the law is passed and the society getting the positive result out of it, then those who are creating obstacle in your path, those who pulling your legs, tomorrow they will touch your feet that thank you, you passed this law for benefit of the woman. Last but not least, if if you want to check the strength of any country, then first check how much women are empowered in that country. Because if your nation is recognized as a women's nation, no one can stop that nation to become the super nation. Thank you.
So Rudra, it was a very interesting topic to hear from you, like menstruation leaves which are there, and even in fact for the first time we came to know that Bihar is a state which is giving such kind of a leave. Also, it is nice that we have taken a very bold topic to speak on it. So thank you very much for being part of Samurai Tablet family, and this is a small token to you from us.